The next wave of Toho reaction figures from Super 7 have just been officially revealed. That's right, Wave 4 of Godzilla figures are here, and if you're wondering, hey, that graphic says Wave 5, yeah, someone messed up. I have all my reaction figures on a wall, and as soon as I saw Wave 5, I went and I double-checked to make sure, yep, something's wrong. But here with Wave 4, it looks like we're continuing the trend of a reduced wave size. Unfortunately, we saw waves of 6 figures with waves 1 and 2. Wave 3 went down to 4. Wave 4 seems to be continuing that trend. I know with some of their other lines like G.I. Joe, the wave sizes eventually went back up to, you know, more than 4 figures, and I'm hoping that's the case because, oh my gosh, there are so many monsters to get through. But let's take a look at the breakdown of this wave of figures, starting with our Godzilla. This is the 1955 version of Godzilla himself, and interestingly enough, the subtitle for the figure says the grayscale version, which I'm not really sure what that means. As far as I know, there's never been a colored 1955. Well, not on the screen anyway. I know there are some pretty funky looking vinyls, but here they've really managed to capture the aggressiveness and sort of that fierceness of the suit without some of those more goofier looking shots that tend to appear online. Looks very similar to the 1954 reaction figure, which makes a lot of sense because those suits were very similar. And with the exception of the movie Monster Series figure that came out late last year, this is the first 1955 action figure I think we've gotten in a long time, if I remember correctly. Next up, we have Baragon 1968 in his standing pose, and you know, he looks great. He's got a little bit of a smile sort of sculpted into his head, and I think he looks great. He looks really cute, actually. I just kind of want to give him a hug. Saw some folks asking why they decided to do the standing pose rather than the crawling pose, and I feel as though Super 7 probably has plans to do a crawling pose. Could be pending the success, seeing how well this one sells first, but don't put it past them to have a crawling version as well. I love Baragon. I've got the movie Monster Series recently. I've got the memorial box, or museum box, whichever one it was called. I've got the Mezco figure, which I love. I hope they do a glow variant of this one. I'll take as much Baragon as I can get. Next up is Anguirus 1955, and this was the figure that I talked to Kyle during my interview with him about, because the card art on the package looks like it might be for a different one than the 1955. And with this figure, I'm curious because back when the first wave came out and they had 1957 Godzilla featured, Brian said that there would be a companion piece to 1957 Godzilla, and you know, is that just this figure? Is the 1955 technically the companion to the 1957 Godzilla? Because as far as I'm aware, the 1955 Anguirus and the Volcano Monsters 1957 Anguirus are the same suit, I think. If there are any differences, I don't think that they're major enough to really come through in a reaction figure. But Lord knows that Anguirus could use a little bit more toy love, and so here we are with our first Anguirus figure in the reaction line. And then for our deep cut character of the wave, we have Mogera 1957. Now, I haven't watched Mysterians. I don't have an affinity for this version of the Mogera suit. You know, my first Mogera was the 1994 version of Space Godzilla, and so I don't have a nostalgia for this interpretation of the character, but this suit and this character really evoke a lot of the things that I loved about the Showa era. And so I'm happy to pick this one up because I think it'll look good amongst my other Showa characters, but also because I want to show my support of Super 7 getting into those nooks and crannies, making those characters that haven't had the spotlight in literal decades. Now, if you haven't picked up any reaction figures before, or if you've thought that the price is a little bit too high, you know, I totally get the price being a little bit more than what you might be happy to pay, especially when you see these things on Target shelves next to, like, you know, the vintage collection Star Wars being offered at, I think, like 40% less cost than these things. But I will say that these guys are a tremendous amount of fun. I'm so happy to have them. They are great as little desk buddies that you can fidget with, especially if you're in meetings that you don't really want to be in. I have seen some of the coldest hearts online who hated reaction when it was first revealed, slowly starting to come around and picking these things up, and it's been really interesting seeing the same folks who think that these are overpriced McDonald's toys being like, hey, I picked up the Gigan and I have the Megalon on order. I've said it before, but I think that once you overcome the disappointment of these things not being what they want to be, you can start having that appreciation for what they are, and what these are a tremendous amount of fun, even if they are a little bit more expensive. So if you're interested in picking these up, my affiliate link is in the description down below. Please consider checking it out. I think Super 7 now offers $7 $7 flat shipping to the continental United States, which is great. It also means that they have discounted shipping internationally for folks like me up here in Canada. I used to get destroyed by direct shipping from Super7, and now I only get slightly destroyed by their shipping. With Wave 4 in the books, who are you hoping to see in Wave 5? For me, I'm always going to be championing Titanosaurus. Varen would be cool. A King Caesar to fight my Mecha Godzilla. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.